Hi, welcome to my second video on our 2007 Impala collision rebuild. Today we're going to try and straighten out this lower radiator support. It was damaged in the crash. It was bent backwards and upwards, and today I'm going to try and pull it forward and bend it back down straight with the aid of a come-along and some brute force and sledgehammers and 2x4s and that kind of thing. Realistically, if I had the skills, the time, and the equipment, we would actually just cut it out of the car, order a replacement, and put a new one in. But this seems to be working pretty good. As you can see, I've already started, and believe it or not, it pulled it straight. I still have to worry or work on getting a little bit of the sheet metal straightened out in there. There's a couple spots it's still bent up, and then over there on the left side of your screen there's some sheet metal that needs to be straightened out into place, some supports. But generally speaking, it's in the same plane as the other side, as the factory side, and now it just needs to be pushed down to get it flat and straight. The hood now latches correctly, and as you can see over here, the gaps on the hood match up with the right fender, so the hood is actually closing. So we're going to work on this today, and maybe the battery cables. I'm not going to film while I'm doing this because it's a little dangerous to actually film and pull. I gotta maintain my escape. But anyhow, I'll show you guys the end result when I'm done. Thanks. Alright, as you guys can see, this has actually moved quite a bit. You can see where I've been pulling all along here with the come-along, and other than just, there's a little bent sheet metal right there, and that'll bend back pretty easy. But as far as this being in line, it's just about there. I'm really surprised at how well this is working. We'll have to tap downward on this high spot here, but that, now that I got actually some room in there, I should be able to do that without removing the radiator or the air conditioning condenser. This is actually working out really well. I'm pretty impressed. Anyhow, update you here in a second. I'm gonna pull a little bit more. Okay, I'm done. For the most part, I got a little hammer and dolly work to do. I think it looks okay for having done it with a come-along and a chain and a hammer. But everything's back in line and straight in front, and the hood closes all the way. And you can see over here the body gaps are pretty decent. So the hood's down where it needs to be, which was what the important part was. So next, we're going to work on the battery cables. As you can see, the fire department cut the battery cables at the accident scene. Not only cut them, they hacked them. So luckily I found a complete set of cables in the junkyard. The only wires I'll have to splice are these right here on the current detector, simply because these wires go back in this big wiring harness. I don't know where they terminate. So I'll solder those and heat shrink them. Everything else is pretty much just a replacement with the new cable. And basically the positive attaches to the battery, the negative attaches to the battery. There's a negative lead that comes over here that attaches in this bundle here. There's all kinds of little grounds here. There's a ground wire that comes to this connector over here. There's another positive that goes over here to the fuse box, the top of the fuse box, and then the big cable goes down and gets attached to the starter and the other end of the negative terminal gets attached down at the end of the transmission, which is way down here. So it won't be too bad to get to from underneath, especially with most of the front end of the car gone and the air dam gone. So I'm going to take care of that next so I can have reliable power on the vehicle, and I'll update you as I go along. Okay, here's the last update for this video. We have the battery cable installed, the radiator support is straightened out, the car starts, it has power, even the remote start still works, so I call that a good day. You take a look, you notice the radiator support is back out where it's supposed to be. There's still a little wrinkle in the bottom, but I may work on that a little bit more as time goes on. The battery cables are back in one piece. Installed the harness I got from the junkyard. The only thing I have to do is they had cut off this connector here, so I'll have to get a connector for that and swedge it on there. Ran the cable to the starter and to the transmission, and see where it terminates right down here. It's grounded to the transmission. Actually the place the old one was grounded to was just right over here, right next to it, and the stud was actually backing out of the casing, so I went over here to this bolt on the transmission that there were a couple other ground wires heading to it, and I put the ground wire there. It's all the same ground plane, same size, same everything. It's grounded, it works. Anyhow, it starts, and importantly, the hood closes, and closes correctly and all the way. So, and you can see the body gaps over here are pretty good. Actually, probably be better once that fender's replaced. But that's what I was concerned about, was getting that hood to close properly. So that means the latch and everything up front is in the right spot. We took a little bit look over here at the broken control arm and axle. It's still not able to steer. The steering pump is straining because well, it's hard to turn. It's hard to turn the wheel with a broken control arm. The other thing I did notice too is I'm looking at this inner tie rod, and it looks to be bent. So when I replace the tie rods and the suspension up here, I will replace the inner tie rods as well as the outer tie rods. Also, you can see the sway bar bushings are totally bent over. I'm probably going to have to cut those off with a grinder or a sawzall. Looks like the structure in there where the lower control arm mounts, looks like it's in good shape. The bushings were crap anyhow. So it'll be time for new bushings, new axle. These wheel hubs are under warranty for a couple more months. They have quite a bit of play in them now. I don't know if we'll put that in the video, but that's my plan. Get 2 new hubs on here, get the brakes redone. I've got 2 struts for it, 2 lower control arms, sway bar link bushings, inner outer tie rods, and the boots that go with them. And we should be set to go up here as far as suspension work goes. Anyhow, we'll continue on with the video series. Next will probably be the suspension work. I do have a bid in on a donor car that is silver. It's a damaged roof. The roof was caved in by a deer strike. Luckily the deer hit the right fender and came up and into the windshield. So hopefully I win that bid, because there's all kinds of good body parts for this car here, and it's the same color, so I won't have to paint it. If I don't get that car and I end up getting parts of different colors, then we're going to explore painting this car, and that ought to be an experience, especially since I'll probably be doing a color change. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been video number 2, and we'll see you in the next one.